name is Rita Raban, and I'm going to do a religious experience of mine. Um, so I am Chaldean and Assyrian. My father is Chaldean, my mom is Assyrian. They are Iraqi Christians from Iraq. Basically, they are the same thing, just back in, they live in northern Iraq. So basically, Assyrians were in rule, they were first, but back in like the 16th, 17th BC, they they're followers of Jesus. Were Catholics, Catholic Christians. So basically, what happened was in back in 1617 BC, the Chaldeans branched off into their own thing and became Roman Catholics, while the Assyrians are Assyrians. They follow the Assyrian Church of the East. So, and the Chaldeans follow the Roman Catholic rule. So basically, the Assyrians, their head person is a patriarch, while the Chaldeans follow the Pope. But they have the same language. They both speak Aramaic. Aramaic is what the language that Jesus spoke. Um, I know that language, and I'm really blessed to know that language because it's a very unique language, and not many know. Especially me, born and raised in San Diego. Not many of my generations know the language. Um, so it's great to know that. And so here are some questions that are on the guidelines of this. Has your family's religious identity changed over generations? I could say yes. Um, Religious identity, it's sad because some people don't go to church every Sunday. They don't follow the Bible. I mean, back in Iraq, that's pretty much all they had. They didn't really do much over there, so religion was really strong over there. And now it just depends on someone's household on how they raise their children and all of that. But my identity as an individual has not changed. I am very religious. I thank that to my parents for raising me like that. Does your family include diverse religious identities? How do you navigate those differences? Um, no, it's the same exact religion. We follow the same thing. We follow saints, follow Jesus, Mary, all of that. So there's not really any differences. The only difference probably is the dialect of the language, Aramaic. There's two different dialects. Um, I know both dialects because growing up, my dad used to speak to me in the Chaldean dialect of Aramaic, and my mom used to speak to me in the Assyrian dialect of Aramaic. So I mean, that's probably the only difference of the two. What interactions do you have with people from other religious traditions? That one's a tough one. Me personally, I don't judge anyone from what their belief is. I feel like if they're a good individual and they're nice to me, then I'm not going to judge them on what their beliefs are. I mean, obviously, my own my own community, we kind of stick together. I guess it's because when they left Iraq, we kind of just are together as people, and we don't really like going outside our comfort zone because when people start judging us. Um, so that's probably one of the interactions with other religion. Some people, they might say, "Oh, we hate Muslims," or "We hate Jewish people," or "We hate." I mean, hate is a strong word. You shouldn't really hate anyone, just because they don't follow the same religion values and traditions as you and beliefs. You shouldn't really judge someone by that. But of course, I mean, if I were to marry someone, I wouldn't marry outside of my beliefs. I would marry within my own. How does your ethnicity, gender, sexual interact with your religious identity? So that one, I mean, back in Iraq, it was a typical male-female roles. The male was the bread. He would bring in the bread and the money and all of that, and the woman was the housekeeper. She was, the housewife. She would cook, clean, take care of the children. Um, Here, I mean, yes, my mom is that role, my father is that role, but, with us as kids, it's kind of different because, my dad lets us work, we bring in our own money, so he doesn't it's not really like, oh, you're not going to work, but if we need my dad's help, he will help us if we don't work. So, I mean, obviously, definitely, like my brother, they're more lenient on him than they are with us. We're 5 kids. So, I mean, definitely my sister's the oldest, and then I have a brother that's older than me, and then a younger brother, and then a younger sister. So, the brother that's between me and my older sister, he can go out, he can do whatever he wants. No one will really question him on where he's going or where he's been or why hasn't he helped out in the house or anything like that. But with me and my sister, we get yelled at, or we're like, why are you out, or why are you out so late? You can't be out late. But I mean, where my family comes from is my dad and my mom are more lenient. They're not as strict as other households, but then again, like, they keep their core tradition values at the same time. It's our parents trust us enough. Are there places in California that have special religious or spiritual significance for you? Yes. So we do have, there's an Assyrian church and there's also a Catholic church here. So St. Peter Chaldean Catholic Church, that's in El Cajon. Rancho San Diego, El Cajon, East County. And then we have an Assyrian church, St. Rabban Hormuz, that's in Spring Valley. So, I mean, like I said, they're the same. Chaldeans and Assyrians are the same thing at the end of the day. It's just that one religion is more stubborn than the other, and they're both stubborn, and they don't really want to admit, because Chaldeans have been branched off for so long from Assyrians that, they've kind of adapted to their own, like, simulation. But at the end of the day, they truly were all Assyrians. They ruled the Babylonian Empire. And then the Turks took over. I mean, if you want to learn about that, you can just definitely research that. I highly recommend it. It's really interesting information for you to know. But yeah, I mean, around in California, like I said, there's churches. There's a Chaldean church. There's Assyrian churches in San Jose, LA. There's an Assyrian church in LA, a Chaldean church. You can go to pretty much any Catholic church. But I mean, the churches that we offer are the ones that they speak in Aramaic, so the ones, the people that are newly here, that they just came from Iraq, they can understand. We have multiple different masses during a day, especially at the one in the Chaldean church here in El Cajon. There's multiple masses. There's an English mass, there's an Arabic mass, there's an Aramaic mass, there's both. So, I mean, it's more of, bringing in the culture and having everyone together. What does religious diversity look in your neighborhood? I went to public school my whole entire life. I live around white people, Mexicans, African Americans. I live in a really cultural diversity neighborhood. I went to school around all types of cultures. I do have neighbors that are Chaldean students, but they are my father's relatives. So, I mean, that's that. Have your religious beliefs ever promoted you to get involved in social political activity? Yeah, I mean, things that are stated in the Bible, like killing babies. I'm against abortion. I don't believe that we should be killing babies, no matter what. I believe that was your own problem if you went and did that, or if you got raped, let's say. I mean, then I just feel like you shouldn't get an abortion. You should just take care of the baby. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's one example of political belief. But the war that's going in Iraq right now with ISIS, they're killing our people in northern Iraq. That's my ancestry. That's definitely a huge thing to propaganda about. But I'm not going to really go into that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's me, Middle Eastern, but I was born and raised in San Diego. Definitely a lot of cultural aspects in my culture, so definitely check that out, look into it, Google it, come to our masses, check that out. It's really cool. Thanks guys for listening.